Hello students. So in previous video we have finished glomerular filtration. Glomerular filtration we have finished. So in this video we will going to learn about selective reabsorption and tubular secretion. So in the urine formation, first step is glomerular filtration. So already we have discussed it. So in glomerular filtration, what will happen? The filtration processes takes place from the glomerulus. So whatever components are present in the blood, except blood cells and proteins, remaining all components, they are filtered into the Bowman's capsule. So that fluid is called filtrate, glomerular filtrate or nephric filtrate. Okay, so this filtrate is passing through the renal tubule. So here in this filtrate, different types of the essential components are present, like amino acids, glucose, vitamins, some salts, and also excretory products are present. So here most of the essential components are present in the filtrate. So these essential components, they need to reabsorb into the tissues. So this process is called selective reabsorption. Whatever essential components are present in the filtrate, they are reabsorbed into the tissues. Okay, that process is called selective reabsorption. Next, after this process, so what will happen? Some ionic imbalances takes place due to the reabsorption process. Ionic balance, to maintain the ionic balance and also maintain the pH balance, renal tubule secretes some secretions. So that is called tubular secretion. So first of all, we will learn about selective reabsorption. So selective reabsorption means reabsorption of the substances. Whatever essential components are present in the filtrate, they are reabsorbed. So here, based on the reabsorption, these substances can be divided into three categories. So they are, first one, high threshold substances. High threshold substances, which means they are completely or 100% completely they are reabsorbed. So completely they are reabsorbed into the tissues. So they are called high threshold substances. So for example, glucose, amino acids, vitamins and also salts. So salts means some 70 to 80% they are reabsorbed. Okay, so completely or most of the percentage they are reabsorbed into the tissues. Okay, so these substances are called high threshold substances. Next, low threshold substances. Low threshold substances, so which means only few amount of the substances can reabsorb into the tissues. Okay, so example, urea and uric acid. So urea and uric acid, very little amount reabsorbs. Okay, so very little amount they are reabsorbed into the tissues. So example, urea and uric acid. These are called low threshold substances. Next, third one, A threshold substances. So which means A threshold substances means A means absent. Here once they are released into the once they are formed into the filtrate, so they never reabsorbed, or they will not reabsorb. Okay, once they are formed, they will not reabsorb. They are called A threshold substances. For example, creatinine. So creatinine is a threshold substances. Okay, so these are the substances which are reabsorbed into the tissues. Based on the absorption, the substances which are present in the filtrate glomerular filtrate or nephric filtrate, they can classify into these three groups: high threshold substances, low threshold substances, and A threshold substances. Next we will see the selective reabsorption and tubular secretion simultaneously in each part of the renal tubule. Okay, so first one in PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. So here this one is PCT. So in PCT already we have learned the structure. So how is the structure? The inner lining mainly made up of cuboidal epithelial tissue with brush border. So brush border means they have the microvilli. Many microvilli are present. So these microvilli, they increase the absorption area, increases the absorption area. So that's why nearly 70 to 80% of substances, they are reabsorbed into the tissues. So 70 to 80% of reabsorption is takes place. So here because of this microvilli. Next also here lot of mitochondria are also present. So mitochondria are present. So that's why they provide the active reabsorption. Okay. So here many microvilli are present. That's why they increase the absorption area. So that's why 70 to 80% of reabsorption takes place in PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. Next, mitochondria are present. Lot of mitochondria are present. So these mitochondria, they provide the active reabsorption. So here active reabsorption and passive reabsorption takes place. Mainly amino acids, glucose, sodium, okay, sodium ions. So these ions mainly they are absorbed by actively. Okay, next chloride ions, okay, chloride ions, potassium and chloride ions absorbed by passively. So passively means which cannot utilize the ATP. Active transportation means during this transportation ATP is utilized. So here ATP is not utilized. So potassium ions and chloride ions absorbed by passively. Next water is absorbed by osmosis method. Next and also bicarbonate ions are also they absorb into the tissues. So these are the mainly amino acids, glucose, vitamins also. Okay. So here glucose, amino acids, next sodium ion, okay, these are absorbed by actively. Next potassium ions, next water, next bicarbonate ions are also absorbed into the tissues. Okay. So this is reabsorption. Next here tubular secretion is also takes place to maintain ionic balance purpose, and also maintain pH balance. So here the PCT secretes some secretions into the renal tubule. So tubular secretion. So mainly here H plus ions and ammonium ions, NH3 ions, H plus hydrogen ions and ammonium ions, they secrete or release H plus and NH3 ions. So H plus and NH3 ions, they released into the renal tubule, okay, or released into they are secreted into the filtrate. Okay, so this is about tubular secretion. Okay, so this is about selective reabsorption and tubular secretion in PCT. So PCT, maximum PCT is present in the cortical region. So mainly here hypotonic in nature. The filtrate is hypotonic in nature. Next, in loop of Henle. The reabsorption. in loop of Henle. So here reabsorption, very minimum reabsorption is takes place. Minimum reabsorption is takes place in loop of Henle. So in loop of Henle, this is the descending limb, this one is ascending limb. So here the descending limb, so descending limb is permeable to water. Okay. Next, impermeable to sodium chloride. Okay, which means it allows the only water ions, it absorbs the only water. So other salts, other components, they are not absorbed here. Here the inner lining, it allows the only absorption of water. So that's why it is permeable to water, impermeable to salts. So that's why the filtrate, whenever the filtrate moves towards tip of the loop of Henle, the concentration slowly increased here. The concentration slowly is increased. Okay. Next, in ascending limb, then the filtrate, again the filtrate moves into the ascending limb. So here Henle loop is present in which region? Medulla region. Okay, so that's why, so in medulla region, so in the loop of Henle, the filtrate, the concentration is different, concentrations are present. So in descending limb, this concentration is slowly is decreased. Next, in ascending limb, it is opposite to the descending limb, means it is permeable to sodium chloride, impermeable to water. Permeable to sodium chloride, impermeable to water, which means it allows the only sodium chloride. It absorbs the only sodium chloride. The water is not reabsorbed here. Okay, it absorbs only sodium chloride. So which means in descending limb only water is reabsorbed, in ascending limb only sodium chloride, salts are reabsorbed. So as a result, so here sodium chloride is reabsorbed. So that's why whenever the filtrate moves to upward direction, the concentration is decreased. So concentration is decreased. Here concentration is increased. Okay, so here concentration is decreased. Okay, so this is reabsorption is Henle loop. So where minimum reabsorption is takes place, only water and sodium chloride are reabsorbed here. Next, in DCT. Distal convoluted tubule. So in distal convoluted tubule also minimum reabsorption is takes place, but this is facultative or conditional reabsorption. Conditional reabsorption is takes place. So here that reabsorption is called facultative or conditional reabsorption is takes place. Here sodium ions and water ions. Sodium and water, only sodium and water ions, they are reabsorbed here. So the reabsorption of sodium and water, both are influenced by other components. So that's why this is called facultative reabsorption. So mainly the reabsorption of sodium is influenced by aldosterone hormone. Aldosterone hormone is secreted from adrenal gland. So this aldosterone hormone is influenced the absorption of sodium. Next, at the same time, the water reabsorption is also influenced by ADH hormone, antidiuretic hormone, which is secreted from pituitary gland. Okay. So this ADH is also influence the reabsorption of water. If ADH hormone levels are decreased, so water is not reabsorbed here from the DCT. Okay, so here these sodium and water, they are reabsorbed or they are influenced by other components. That's why this reabsorption is called facultative or conditional reabsorption. Okay, next here secretion is also takes place. Tubular secretion is also takes place. So here some amount of H plus ions and ammonium ions, they are and also very small amount of, very little amount of, very small amount of urea is also secreted into the filtrate for ionic balance purpose. Okay, so this is in DCT. Next, in collecting duct. So in collecting duct also same facultative conditional reabsorption takes place. Here also sodium and water reabsorption takes place. Next, here sodium and water also, they are influenced by hormones, ADH and aldosterone hormones, both are here also influenced. So sodium and water are reabsorbed. Next, next H plus ions and ammonium ions are secreted into the filtrate. So next, finally, to produce hypertonic means highly concentrated urine. So now that filtrate finally whatever filtrate is formed, that is called urine. So hypertonic urine, hypertonic means highly concentrated urine is formed. So that highly concentrated urine is released into the, from the collecting duct, released into the renal pelvis to ureter to urinary bladder. Next, from the urinary bladder through the urethra, released into the outside. Okay, so this is formation of urine.